What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What's Up Cuzzo podcast with your two favorite cousins. We got Melly is in the building.
Yeah, in the building. My headphones is not working. That's crazy. Plugged in and it's coming through my laptop. But I'm here though. What's up, everybody? Another fantastic Friday. It is, it's gonna be what it is. So let's get it
Yeah,
in.
yes, sir. Uh, yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, then lost my train of thought. Anyway, we're gonna work through the technical difficulties.
Hmm.
We're trying to work some things out earlier, but it's all good. And I am Marco, your other host. Um, Welcome to season 2 officially, episode number 1 of season 2, and we got a lot to talk about because things have happened. I don't think he heard me, but uh no, you can't hear me again. Yep. um you muted though.
No, I didn't hear it. I was trying to fix my headphones,
Oh,
but
you got them fixed or not?
no.
Oh, okay.
We'll work it out. I
Well, check your did you change your settings at all?
think that's what happened, but I'll fix it. No big deal.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, so we've got a lot to talk about because things have happened. And
Oh
happening
yeah.
right now, actually.
And it's happening right now, right? As always, things will continue to happen.
Absolutely. So
Earphones and everything else.
yeah, yeah. I got something actually that I wanted to kind of veer to the left about. And this kind of it didn't go too left, but it was just a indication of where people's thought process is, and that they don't look into the things that people send them. They just go off and join the plantation. You know what I'm saying? And join they go ahead, get along gang. And they don't look into what, they're posting, what people are telling them and things like that. So I ain't gonna say no names. I don't have no beef or nothing either. So I don't want to say that it's beef. But I just wanted to address it. So there was a post up about Chipotle, supposedly giving 50,000 to I'm sorry, 15,000 to fund ICE agents or something like that. And so right
Sign me
underneath, huh?
up. Sign me up.
And so right underneath that, it was like a donation or something like that, supposedly from Chipotle. And so right under that it says it's time to start boycotting Chipotle. So I'm like, like, what, bro? Firstly, I, I don't want to say I get it because that's like a thing that I say because I don't want to be offensive, but I'm not gonna say it this time. I don't get it. I don't understand why uh people are boycotting because somebody is donating money. Okay. Like, where does this stop at? I don't even eat Chipotle that much anymore, honestly. Like every so often, and I'm not even talking about every 3 months. I'm talking about like every maybe 8 months or so, I might go to Chipotle. That's not my go-to anymore. Like that. But um in the sense of in this particular instance, uh So am I supposed to boycott the grocery store because ICE agents go to certain grocery stores? Am I supposed to boycott, you know, the schools that other ICE agents take their kids to? Am I supposed to boycott? Like, where does this stop at? Like, this gotten like ridiculous. Like they're people, and I understand you don't like what's going on, but like this is ridiculous. Doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, one thing is that why isn't it that you guys had the same energy about boycotting when we had somebody else that looked more like the people on this panel or the people on this podcast? Like, why didn't you guys boycott things when he was sending ICE out deporting people? Why didn't you guys not cooperate with him when he was sending people out? Guess what? I don't have to like everything that Trump does. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And I'm not trying to, say I like everything he does. But the problem is that you guys are ridiculous with that. It has to stop somewhere. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe for you it doesn't, but it's ridiculous. And so this is the irony in it. When you look in the post, like you look at the post, when you look down at the caption of like what it actually means, it says Bill Ackerman, who is a investor, he's the one who gave this money supposedly to ICE agents or to ICE, and not Chipotle. And Chipotle came out with a statement saying that they didn't have any responsibility for that money. So in that same post you posted that you saying it's time to boycott Chipotle, right underneath, if you had read the actual caption and what it said instead of um, being trying to be divisive and things like that, it said it right there. Right there for you. Boy, y'all need to stop it. And then this person tried to say, "Oh, your son and your daughter, his mother is this and that." Bro, they're American. And guess what? I know some things have happened to Americans, you know, and from what I heard, those people that things happened to, they got, they checked them out and made sure they was good. But I'm not worried. Y'all need to stop it, bro. And I'm gonna stop it right there so we can move on with the show. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show, y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Um, so it can help move us up in this algorithm and put us in front of people who have not seen our content. And thank you to those who actually have subscribed to the channel and view our content. We appreciate you. And when we get big, we remember y'all. Y'all were at the beginning of this thing. So anyway, as we said, we got a lot to talk about. This episode, The Great Replacement. And why did we call it that? We got UPS. They're spending 120. I put $120. I guess that'll be a small amount. Let me change that. But they spent 120 milli. 120 million. Oh, I don't have no video. That's crazy. There we go. Let me see. Let me see. All right, disregard. I guess I can't fix it, but oh, there we go. It did fix it. Okay. So yeah. So UPS spent 120 mil on automation, and we'll talk about that. BMW and a company called Figure, they're working on automation as well. And then we have comedian Ryan Davis, who's talking about how his daughter's relationship, the bond that they had, was replaced for money per se. So let's talk about it. So we'll start with BMW and the company Figure, and we'll go from there. Let's see. You know what? Give me 1 second, y'all. Bear with me. All right, we'll just we'll play this other video that I had, because that one had no audio, and that would have been super boring.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got.
Yes, sir. So Figure is a company, and the humanoid that we were watching is actually the second version of this particular bot, and it is doing kind of like some of the heavy lifting that was, the job of people, and it's actually in the testing phases. Um, they basically did this for a year, testing it out. So this is not like a new thing, but it's something I wanted to bring to your attention, because we brought up automation and how different jobs will I don't want to say be fully replaced, but it looks like that these particular type of robots are going to be taking positions that people have done. And guess what? They don't have to take vacations. They don't get sick. And from what I read, there was really low downtime. I don't know what that means exactly. But because they could say low downtime, based on, what the previous scenarios where it could be, I don't know what number they're basing it off of. So it could be, anything, but from what they said is low downtime. So imagine that you got people who, you get sick, you got to call off, for, to take your kids to school or whatever, or take your kids other places. You have to, things come up. You got doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, etc. Um, you take vacation. You got to take a break. You get a lunch. So all these things are important, and these companies, at the end of the day, and like, again, we discussed this before. At the end of the day, their job is to make money, and not to leave out. They pay you a salary, right? So all these things are factors. Guess what? If I could spend more money in research and development, creating something that works longer, works harder, doesn't get tired, doesn't take vacations, doesn't take sick time, doesn't need food, like, and actually I get more productivity, not only uh on a regular basis, but also you can work more hours. So you're getting more productivity in the time span that you would get from somebody normally. But then also you don't have to pay me overtime if I work over. So you can run me for 10, 20, 10, 15, 20 hours, 24 hours, really, if you wanted to. But I mean, that'll really, I know for maintenance purposes, they probably don't want to run it that long, but we don't know yet. We have to see. So, Cuzzo, what about you? What you think about Figure and BMW working together?
I mean, I think it's one of those inevitable things. I mean, as we've seen factories, I mean, before, I mean, largely, with a human operator, there's been robots already incorporated and putting, vehicles together. So this part, again, this is about efficiency in terms of how much money you can make for your shareholders. So if I can replace the human aspect, that can save money a lot of different ways. That can save money in terms of workplace accidents, disability. Again, you mentioned earlier the downtime. Downtime is like, lunch breaks, regular breaks, um, maternity leave, you know, um, funerals, from last time I understood, robots don't have none of that stuff. You know, it just comes down to, the programming, the software that's implemented. And if I want to get something done in a certain amount of time, this is one of the ways that people believe it's going to be more efficient. Now I agree to a certain extent, but as we look forward, we got to only think of it in terms of things being autonomous. It's not just replacing the people. You got to look at the reason and as to why. Control. Yes, money is part of it, but that's like on the lower side, lower hanging fruit side. You got to think more in terms of you controlling the life cycle of cars from start to finish without even having a human touch it, you know. And that's one of the things to where you can say, imagine me wanting a brand new car and I got a 3D printer machine and I just run it to the 3D printer, put it to the 3D printer, my car would be ready in 24 hours, you know. And that means you can design the car how you want, everything from start to finish, from head to toe. And to me, that's appealing in some into those areas. That's appealing to me. But on the other side of the human aspect, yes, people are not going to be able to be a part of what they call here when we had it in America was what Detroit, auto. I'm pretty sure a lot of other car manufacturers are going to pick up suit if they see this as something that's going to be beneficial. And it's like a lot of implementation in terms of this technology happening all at once. So this is kind of like this reminds me of um, those ages where you had the still age, and you had the dot-com age, then you have the AI age to where everyone's rushing to be first, and doing this and doing that, because we all know in terms of how the economy goes and how we call it capitalism. If you're not first, you last, as my boy Ricky Bobby would say. Shout out. And I just think it's going to be some efficient. It's going to be some benefit, but it's also going to be some downfall from a standpoint of how people used to work or they used to be able to earn. You got also too BMW on the other side making parts so you can't work on your car. I'm pretty sure they was like, okay, well, we can call out a humanoid robot to come out to your house or bring it to the dealership. All those people are not going to be there either. Everything is going to be like a Carvana. Now that I think about it, go up in there, type some stuff in, put your information in, and you ain't got to do nothing. Just
I mean, that's already on Amazon. You could buy you a car, put
right,
your specs on there,
yeah,
and they ship it to you.
right. So it's just kind of like from that standpoint, it could be sound cool, but I don't like the full and like just full autonomy of it all, because it's like, where's the human aspect? The only human aspect you have is the coding aspect or the repairs to the machine, and there's always pros and cons to everything, but I'm just looking at it from a broad perspective. We can drill down and get deep in certain areas, um, but this is something like, you know if you have racing, there's not going to be pit people anymore. You got robots doing this. Like, y'all don't even have to be out there no more. That aspect is gone. So as you look at things, the more and more you see things start to, not be like as it used to be, then you can kind of see, okay, that job's going to be gone. That job's going to be gone. That job's going to be gone. So it's a good thing if you look at it from a perspective of, if I don't have to do that, then what else could I be doing? That's more of a benefit that people need, that human aspect. So
And I'll just say, I'll jump in there. I'll just say, valid points. The only one thing is that I know you said that money is probably on a lower scale, and I kind of disagree, because in the business field, that's probably the number one driving factor. And you did mention about shareholders, and shareholders want, hey, even though, excuse me, even though they uh even though shareholders are not necessarily like in those meetings, some of them, hey, I need that stock to go up, bruh.
mm,
So I need you to do things that is gonna make the stock go up. And guess what? Having more autonomy, having less people, and you spoke to some of that stuff about less liability and all those things. Like, those are are all money related, you know, because at the end of the day, that's not money coming out of the company's pocket. So that means the company is able to put funds into other areas, you know, kind of like I said, kind of early on R&D, research and development. You know, they can create these type of things or partner with these companies like they partner with Figure to create these things. And actually I had this information written down. I just had to find it, and I just lost it again. Shout out to my phone. Oh, here we go. So, I just had a couple bullet points. So the Figure 2 robot recently finished the 11th month deployment at the BMW Spartanburg plant, where it worked 10-hour shifts Monday through Friday alongside humans. The results: it successfully loaded 90,000 parts while welding, fixing with 99% accuracy, contributing to the production of over 30,000 BMW X3s. Technical edge: it uses Hexel, an end-to-end neural network that lets it see and feel parts. If a part is oily or out of place, it self-corrects, achieving a 400% efficiency gain since its first trial. The next level, as of the week, Figure, which is the company, is retiring O2 and launching the Figure O3, which has 3 times the brain power and palms with integrated cameras to see what is touching. So this is where some of their money is going to, like R&D, research and development, so they can continue to get better. And I don't know if you guys remember this a while back. You know, the people in the car industry, they were striking for more money and things like that, which I don't blame them. I want more money too. But what happens is that they even try. This is my opinion. They even try harder to find ways to get rid of people because guess what? They don't have to keep giving this robot a raise. And I know I keep talking about money, but I think it's a factor. I think it's a big factor in this. Yeah, they want to be autonomous. Yeah, they want to stop people's injuries, but honestly, I think the only reason why that they want to stop people from getting injured and things like that, and is because that's money coming out of their pocket. So that's just in my humble opinion. You know, I could be totally off, and y'all could disagree with me. That's fine, perfect. I want y'all to disagree with me. Disagreement is good as long as it don't come to blows. Like I seen somewhere else. But anyway, on to the next one. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps move us up in the algorithm, and helps other people see this content. Because I want more people, to disagree with me. Like I said, I ain't fighting. No, I ain't trying to fight. We good. We good, homie. Cause I wanted to ask you a question, man. I know you don't be on. Well, from what I figure, you don't be, on social media that much, but our boy Corey Holcomb, I just seen a video, and I think this video might be old, and I'm not gonna play it, but I saw a video on TMZ. A picture on TMZ. I saw the full video somewhere else of him punching a lady. It was a group of guys hanging out. There was a lady out there, and then he, I guess the lady was woofing at him, and she punched him. I was like, man, that's kind of crazy. But I don't know what she said either. So I'm not. I don't know about that.
He punched him, or he punched her.
He punched her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never heard anything like that. How long ago was that?
Well, I just saw the video this morning, and people were talking about it this morning, and but I also heard the video was old, so I'm not sure. I know when he had Anton Daniels on his show, he brought up that he has other cases going on, and I don't know if this is one of those cases or not, but I was like, man, it's kind of wild. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stay to myself. Anyway, so next, UPS is investing 120 million, from what I hear, in about 400 robotic arms designed to unload trucks and shipping containers. And you know what? I couldn't find a video on that. I'm just keeping 100. I couldn't find a video, but let me see. I did look it up. Let me see. Where's my Here we go. So I see that right there. Let me actually make it a little larger. There we go. So, yes. So I asked the question, is UPS spending money on self-loaders? And yes, and I kind of read that already to you. Technology partner robots are supplied by Pickle Robot Co., a Massachusetts-based company. The purpose: the robots are designed to pick up and place packages weighing up to 50 pounds from trailers onto conveyor belts, helping to reduce manual labor in the hardest to automate part of the warehouse. Wait, where are you at, cousin? Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna let you start first. I'm gonna let you go ahead. Yep.
What's the question? I thought you had a question.
Yeah, I really don't have a question. I just want you to, you know, give your commentary.
Well, again,
What this means for,
well, I mean, I think again, this just goes back to what we was talking about before, and a lot of time warehouses are short workers. So this is something I think goes along with what we're seeing down at the docks, where they're starting to have robots work in that area. Anytime I can be more efficient with work like that and cut down on accidents and time and efficiency, it all saves money, for the company, and it puts money back into the owners and the shareholders. So this is something that I think is going to start to happen more and more as you start to see autonomous, equipment be more involved in the shipping and receiving, not only just transport, but also your local warehouses. You'll start to see these in your local grocery stores. Right now, you even see these little, robots riding around, sweeping and mopping the floor. If you've ever seen one of those, look like little street sweepers. You'll start to see that stuff like in the back of the store, stocking, taking stuff off the truck, arranging it and making sure it's ready for it to go out to the floor. So I just tell people to be prepared, because when you start to see people wanting more money, as you said, this is where they start to bring in the robots. Same thing with Amazon, same thing with the strike at the docks. You start to see people wanting more money, and people don't want to pay more money. So they're going to start to see, okay, well, what can we do to cut out the human aspect, to say, hey, we don't need you anymore. So let's just go ahead and bring in these autonomous equipment, beings. And I'm pretty sure they'll have an aspect to where these can be out on loan. These are not something that I'm going to buy. So when it's time for it to be decommissioned, and you can grab the newest model, kind of like iRobot, when they was getting all the old models out there and just kick these dudes to the curb. They was like, "What's going on? Wait a minute!" And then
Yeah,
they
they
would
throw 'em
just,
in the little graveyard.
yeah, man, they
Yeah.
was ripping these dudes apart, and they were just like, "Wait a minute, oh." It's like,
Hey, yeah, we might have to review that movie. Well,
yeah,
I'm sorry, go over that movie. Yeah,
yeah,
that was a good movie, man.
it was a good movie. But I tell people they make movies and show them to you for a reason.
Yes,
So
sir.
just take heed. It's not all about entertainment.
And it might not be, when did that movie come out? Um, Let me look real quick. Robot, 2004.
Mm.
So yeah,
About
to
a
your
little
point.
over 20,
Yeah,
20 years ago, a little over
yeah.
20 years.
And so that's the thing. It may not be, you know, in a year or two that they, roll the stuff out that, of these movies, but it might be 20 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
They always say, yeah, the government and the system is always 10, 20 years
that's a
ahead
fact.
of you. So when you see a movie like that, it's like, wait a minute, I think 20 years ahead.
Yeah, right. That's a fact.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just, kind of ad-libbing, but you finished, or I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
hold on. What did I just do? I just went crazy with it. Oh, there we go. Cool. Yeah, man. I think that this is the writing is kind of on the wall, and like look at your job. I would say, and this is not to scare you or anything, but look at your job and see how you could be more efficient. Because I mean, again, I think a major part of it is money, but I could be wrong. But I know that everybody loves efficiency. Like if you could use things to help you be more efficient, to do things better and faster, like that's what's needed. That's what people want. They want you to be more efficient. And so I just think that that's part of the thing. Like look, I use artificial intelligence, you know, to help me with things. The Geminis, the Chat GPTs, and that's actually another subject I kind of want to throw in there. I guess maybe we'll talk about it since we're kind of talking about the same thing. But I kind of use that to help me do things. Help me, with improvements and stuff like that. I don't give too much personal information. I don't do that yet because I mean, I'm kind of probably already in the matrix anyway because we sign our name and email and everything to in a whole lot of places. But basically, I might take a photo of something at work and say like, okay, I want to upgrade this or I want to do that. Give me some ways that based on the equipment I have, I can upgrade this area, but also uh include any equipment that you think might make this process or thing better. Like you can use it for a lot of things. Help me with this. I type out an email and I could say, can you enhance this email for me or redo this email for me? And guess what? You don't always have to do it exactly, but it kind of gives you a good baseline of some things and it shows you like some things that you may not have thought of and you could use that to make things better. You could use that to make yourself more efficient
Hmm.
because instead of like reading through every single line and check this 3-4 paragraph email that you're sending out, I hope you're not doing that. I don't want no damn 3-4 paragraph email. But anyway, you check it through this email and you could, hey, boom, plug and play, boom, help you make this more efficient. It corrects some things for you, uses words for you. Boom, you good. But yeah, again, I had a few notes here. So UPS, the shift. This is this whole, implementing these 400 pickle robot arms. This is a shift, which is part of a larger plan to cut $3 billion in annual costs by 2028. And where do you think though that a lot of that cost is going to be cut at? In labor. So just be mindful, that these things are happening. Work on equipping yourself, and like one of the guys I watched, Damon Darling, things like that. What he says. Make sure you're doing that because it's important. I mean, who doesn't want to grow anyway? You know what I'm saying? You know what? We're gonna take a quick intermission. This is a song I listen to. It's only a minute or two. If it has, I think it has cuss words, because so if you somewhere, make sure you mute it. So just in case. All right, we'll cut it right there. Hey, the album go hard, man.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, man. You got another song there, Girls All Pause.
Oh yeah, that was my jam.
Yeah.
Do.
Man, let me leave real quick and come back because I don't know why I keeps doing that. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I can hear when I come back. All right. I'm back. There we go. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. I thought anyway. All right, real quick. So this is something that I did yesterday. Me and my coworker, we were talking about the different platforms like chat and Gemini, etc. So look at this. OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT, is facing a significant financial loss with projections suggesting a $14 billion loss in 2026 due to immense costs for training, infrastructure, and talent. Despite high revenue and popularity, the expense of running ChatGPT is outpacing income, potentially threatening the company's financial stability in 2027. Also, let me see if it's in here. Yeah, so I don't see it in here, but so the reason why I bring it, we're talking about automation and things like that. We're talking about chat. I mean, I'm sorry, like AI and things like that. I use Gemini a lot, and I just happen to kind of stumble up on that information about chat or OpenAI, and honestly, if I'm ignorant of some of the things about it because I didn't actually research this a lot, but just from my on the outside looking in, I know like your Gemini is Google. You got Grok, which is tied to X, or formerly known as Twitter. You got the Microsoft version. I keep forgetting the name of it. Oh, Copilot. And so so you got Microsoft, you got Google, and you got X, which are huge companies. Like we know these companies from the tech. Like I said, I could be ignorant to it, but OpenAI, I'm not really that familiar with it. I don't know how long they've been around, and I could look it up, I guess. But trying to stay among the top, in this particular field, I think it could be difficult. Especially if you're a newer company, you're not stable. You don't have money like Microsoft and uh, like Google, and you're trying to compete to be the best, right? And I just think I just want to kind of like shed light on this. For some reason, I just just a thought, but I think it could be kind of difficult, to do that, especially if you don't have any stability, because again, money, infrastructure are some of the things that are named, and that's what I'm talking about. It takes money to stay at the top, and I like Gemini because Gemini uh, I've used both of them, and Gemini, in my opinion, I just like it better. It gives me better results than I have with chat. So you don't have to share though. I mean, if you want to jump in and say something, or maybe ask a question or something about this, Cuzzo, or your experiences using any of these, you can. But if not, we'll just go to another subject because I just wanted to bring that up. Let me see, OpenAI. Let me see. Okay, so 10 years. OpenAI has been in existence for just over 10 years. It was founded December 2015. The organization was founded as a nonprofit in 2015 by Sam Altman. Oh, okay. Elon Musk. Some of these names I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, OpenAI, for them to be OpenAI, it looks like they potentially was one of the leaders in it, but it looks like they're having a difficulty, maintaining that pace. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with OpenAI and moving down the road, but it looks like they could be in some financial trouble, and that's when you start to see people like getting laid off, them going different directions because guess what? Hey, I need this company to survive, especially if I'm a person who's a stakeholder in this company. So anyway, why did I do that? Enough of that. And we'll go to our last topic. So comedian Ryan Davis was on Club Shay. And he had a lot to say, man. I actually didn't really know really much about him. I haven't watched his content until now. But from what he was saying, he was a dude that kind of gave cats the game on how to monetize their stuff online. Like he said, Country Wayne mentioned him, and a couple other guys who are, content creators who do their stuff like on the Facebooks and the YouTubes and things like that, which is pretty dope. So anyway, there's a piece of this that we want to address, and because he talked about the whole family structure, kids, and things like that. So let's see what he had to say. Watch a commercial come on right now.
It's a lot harder to be more right than them.
Because you don't really.
Okay, yeah. I guess I could rewind it back here.
And you're both young.
Yeah,
You
it's
both
so
want,
tough.
and you both want to be right.
Yeah,
That's the hardest part.
it's a lot harder to be more right than them.
Because you don't realize you tugging, but you're not pulling at each other. You're pulling at the child.
Yeah,
And that was the hardest thing. But I want to be right.
her need to be right was greater than mine.
She probably would say your need to be right was greater than hers.
Nah.
I'll stop right there real quick. So, Cuzzo, like in your relationships, in the past, with your kids and their mom, do you think there was a need to be right Yeah, that's my question.
Are you talking from my standpoint?
Yes, sir.
No. I never needed to be right. I just needed to be heard. I just needed to be I needed the situation to be fair in terms of, how I thought, parenting should go. Unfortunately, when you don't have a mom and a dad in the household, you still want to have, the mom and the dad work together. Because that's what I seen from my mom and my dad when they got divorced. I still seen them come together. Even though when my mom got remarried, he still would come over and still be a part of whatever's going on. Whether it be cookouts or special occasions. His daughter's birthdays. Whatever. But in that situation, unfortunately, most modern women, would like to throw that aspect away, of the man because they want to be in control, in charge, and because you no longer have a relationship with that man anymore, then you just want to throw that aspect of the relationship away for your daughter too. So you kind of just haphazardly do things and do things from a certain perspective of not having a level of respect for the man anymore because you guys don't have any intimate relationship. So since that's gone and I have the child, then this is all I need. So um I never needed to be right, you know. That's not what I needed. What I needed was to be respected and and giving the opportunity to do what I needed to do as the dad or as the father in that situation. And a lot of men, would say, "Oh, I would fight for my daughter. Yeah, I would never just give up." And that's all fair, and I can understand from that standpoint. But I've seen men do that, waste their time, go to the full lengths, because that's what they feel they need to do. And shouts out to you. But I feel like that's not, what I needed to do. I didn't need to do that to get the child here. So why should I do that? Need to do that to see the child? Why do I need to go through all those hoops and jump through all those rings to see the child that's mine's just as well as yours? You know. So as he was saying, that's kind of my mindset. She needed to be right more than I needed to be. So it's kind of like, yes, there were some aspects to where I did what I feel like I needed to do. And then that got overturned. So it was like, now, okay, you get to go do what you want to do, you truly want to do. So I will allow that, because that's what you feel like is right for you to do. Forget the child, anything else. Because if you was thinking about the child, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. So at the end of the day, most of the time, men who are logical, will allow people to um, learn their own lesson because that's the best way for them to learn it. By you writing that story out and living it yourself, and whatever else comes out at the other end, that can be solely on you, or you can blame it on something else. It won't even matter. So yeah, I didn't feel like I needed to be right. Just needed to be respected, listened to, and collaborated with. That's all.
Dope. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I don't know. I think let me say this. There's no book out there on how to be a good parent, how to be a parent, period. People have their philosophies, people have their thoughts, people, have their experiences. Um, there's no truth. Well, there's no fact that if I listen to you with your experience in raising my kids like you think I should raise them, they'll come out the same way that your kids came out because my kids are different from yours, more than likely. I mean, they're kids, but they're different. The reason why I wanted to lead with that is because I think that in a way I did want to be right. And the reason why I say that is because I felt that the kids needed both of us. And the reason why I felt like I needed to be right is because I know if I was in your I muted myself. If I was in your shoes, that I would not attempt to take your relationship from children. And so women do that all the time, selfishly, not knowing, that the kids need both of us. And, and I know I was right about that, but like people are going to do what they want to do. And so, we had conversations about this type of stuff all the time. And women are always giving the out. Women are giving out for a lot of things. But we need to start holding them accountable. And if it's women watching, it's that's not you. I'm not talking about you. But yeah, I felt like I needed to be right because I was right. We don't know the harm that we've done to our kids, when we play those type of games until, the game is over. And what I mean by when the game is over is when the kids are older and they have different type of issues that stem from, it could be like abandonment issues. It could be, not feeling, like they're good enough type, a lot of things. I was gonna say something, but I don't want to have that conversation. But my daughters are older now, and they've told me things that I'm like, wow, like I didn't know that, and I've told them things, to the extent that I went, to have a relationship with them. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought this. Just imagine. And for some reason, women think that they could do it by themselves. And guess what? I'm gonna be you probably not gonna agree with me on this, but I think men can do it by themselves. But men don't want to do it by themselves because they know that children need their other parent. Just saying. So for me, I guess I don't know if I could reword that a different way, or change the wording of that. But yeah, I did feel like I needed to be right because I believe I was right. In that situation, in a lot of the situations that we encounter. So, yeah, it is what it is. So next part. Let me see. I don't know why this thing keeps getting small like this. I'm gonna have to look into that. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it on your end too, but it's like getting like super tiny. No. Oh, okay.
But like we're just working through like getting our custody agreement together now. And I told you I'm gonna be more candid on here than I've ever been. I never talk about my co-parenting situation, but whenever I have 2 children. I have an 8-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. She's about to turn 11. And it's been rough. I've been there every step of the way financially. I haven't always been there the way that I should have physically, but I wasn't always allowed to be there like I could have been physically too. And
All right. Go right there. I understand. Cuzzo, I'm gonna hop off and hop back on, but you should start sharing. And then
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But so basically, do you think, I mean, because even now I know you married and stuff now, you know, but I know, well, for me, I this is just my belief, is that as a man, our thought process is to protect and provide. And I know that's like a, key words, for men, like you look it up in a dictionary, protect and provide, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. But I believe that's part of, like, a major part of what we do for our families and things like that. And it could sacrifice time, you know. And I know women want time, and the kids want time as well. So, do you think that that's challenging to balance those two things, when dealing with, work family balance? Do you think it's difficult? And I'm gonna hop off and hop back on. You can answer that.
Yeah. I think it can be. It can be difficult. It just depends on your level of lifestyle you want to live. Some people do fine with, work and home life. You know, some people don't do well with that because it just depends on the type of work that they choose. And they're used to a certain lifestyle. So if you want a certain lifestyle, or if you want to experience certain things or certain ways in life, sometimes you have to, give up that time factor. And I think we all, seek and chase it at some points in our life to where we call work-life balance. And, work-life balance is just like generational wealth. Work-life balance is a buzzword. Work-life balance used to be, 9 to 5, and then you come home and you have dinner, and that's it. And I can remember growing up, I was what we call a latchkey kid, because your parents work, from sun up to sundown. So you gotta get yourself home and get yourself in the house. So that's not really work-life balance. There's not a balance there. But there is a need, want, and a desire to take care of your family the best you can. So whatever plan you hash or come up with your significant other, or your child's mother, you best behoove, the ways and means that's going to allow you guys to both show up, in that child's life to the best of your abilities. And sometimes it's going to require more from the other parent than the other parent to be there. There's not a balance there. And sometimes that can breed some resentment on the mother's part. I don't think any resentment can come from the man, other than having money, taken out of his check, against his will, or the mother is doing other things than taking care of the child, which is partying and worrying about her personal lifestyle, spending money where it shouldn't be spent, those types of things. But other than that, I mean, there's no resentment that comes from a man, because he's going to do whatever he needs to do to handle his responsibilities. And I really don't know where the stigma of the man is not going to be there for his kids. I get the whole Rolling Stone aspects. They started out in the 60s and the 70s, and that was just part of you know, certain neighborhoods and cultures that we all, you know, came up around and in.
Papa
You know,
Rolling Stone.
yeah. So, but I know for me, it's like I never not wanted to be there. You know, I never said, yeah, I'm not going to be there. Of course, when I grew up, I had my first child in college. You know, I was thinking about going to play football at the next level, you know, but then I chose to not do that because I wanted to be there to be a dad.
Right.
So I made that decision, and
Shout out to you for that.
yeah, and I still got bit in the ass for it because I was not, as Ryan said, allowed to be there as much and how I wanted to be. You know, growing up as a young father, you don't know much. Only thing you know is what you experienced as a child growing up, you know, from your own father. So you're gonna do whatever you believe is the right thing and the way to do. You know, also growing up as a young man, you know, making your way in the world, you know, wanting to enjoy yourself and work and experience life. So there's going to be some mistakes made, but there's never any malicious intent, I think, coming from a guy saying, I just never going to be there, other than the fact of if, you know, the woman or the mom is being difficult, she's being manipulative, and then she's violent. She got a lot going on at her house, which is, you know, the mother's involved.
Oh man.
It could be another man involved. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that would, you know, keep the man away. And a lot of emotional stress, you know, guys, they deal with it, but they rather not deal with it, you
100%.
know. So it's like having to go and pick up your child at the police station, having to go pick up your child at somebody else's house. Those are all emotional stressors that fall heavy on the man, because a man cannot control those things. Only thing he can do is go along and try to play his part to help, you know, do what he can for his child, and that show up and be there. You know, he has to entertain all the extra antics that don't need to go along with the exchange, you know, or with the rearing of the child and raising of the child. You know, all the extra things that emotionally come to the surface because the mom has been traumatically scarred from her dad, or her dad not being there, or from seeing multiple men come out of her household. Like, these are all the things that we don't think about, but I've thought about afterwards. It's like, okay, so you're doing the same thing to your child that was done to you. It's just repeating itself. And everybody was sort of up and down. No, I'm not. Okay, well, I'm watching what you told me happened to you, and I'm watching you do it to your child.
It may not look the same, but it's the same thing.
It's a remake. It's like The Thing. Oh, no, that's not the same one. Yeah, because they remade the movie, so it's not going to be in the 70s. Now it's going to be in the 90s. Yeah, going to look a little bit different, you know. So, I just implore people to look at, you know, what you're doing to the child first and foremost. There's so many educated women these days that have degrees and then they have doctorates, but they're so inept in terms and of ways of not being able to see their part in this, you know, or they just truly don't care. You know, they have enough, you know, spite and venom for the man that they'll go ahead and slowly poison the child, you know, based on that experience. And as children get older and they start to come into their own ways in life, they'll mention that to their parent, but then they'll be like, no, that's not what happened or how it happened. No, that is how it happens. And you don't want to receive it because you never want to be accountable for how it happened and who did it, you know. That's just like, you know, growing up and you having a weird uncle, and then they never want to say, oh yeah, that wasn't true. Well, yeah, it was true because I was there. So I mean, what he's going through, what he's been going through, like, yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anybody because it's heartbreaking. You can't do anything but go by what she says or the judge says. You got to play the game. Okay, you didn't show up, so now I'm gonna take you back to court. Now we in court, so they kind of see how you acting, but they still gonna let you keep custody. Now I got custody, so now you not gonna do this. Like it's going back and forth, tit for tat. So it sucks. But she'll spill, cousin. I know you got something. You
I
muted.
don't have much. Yeah, I don't have anything, man. I'll just go to the next subject.
All right, yeah.
Well, I do. I lied. Where's the RAM button at? No, but all jokes aside, I know that we're not in a worldly sense successful as Ryan Davis is. And so I know being on the road a lot of times, doing all these things, it could be difficult, to be able to spend time with the kids. But I think a man's kind of like I started with a man's job, if he has family, is to protect and provide. And as you said, Cuzzo, sometimes the weight, of the distribution of things is shifted shifted. So the woman has to do a little more. She has to spend a little more time with the kids. And then the man is out there grinding, trying to provide, trying to make sure there's no wants on the table. I'm sorry, no needs on the table. Maybe there might be some wants on the table, like he can't meet all those wants, but there's no needs, like you have food, clothing, housing, etc. And I can remember, when I had my young ladies, early on, like I was going to work, and mom was at home. But as soon as I walked through that door, here you go. And I'm like, shit, like, can I like take a breather? But that was the expectations. And it's not just her. I've had conversations with other women, and not all of you. Now, shout out to y'all who are doing y'all thing, who are holding it down for the kids and the man while the man is providing, and you are taking that role to actually provide. Provide a house, food, make sure the kids are taken care of, make sure your man's taken care of. Like, shout out to y'all. We love you. Protect them at all costs. Clip that. But anyway, for those, that's what I was expected to do. Like, here you go, the kids. I've been with them all day. I've been at work all day, and I just needed. That's all I needed. And actually, I wanted to spend time with my kids, but I just wanted like a few minutes just to, because I didn't want to bring work home. Meaning, like, I might have had, somebody who took me there, or I might have had a strenuous day at work. So I just wanted to decompress real quick, but mom wanted to too. So I understand that. So I think work-life balance is not possible. I don't think it's possible. And only way I think it's possible is if you guys have a conversation and determine what your work-life balance is together. And I think you might have mentioned, you might have talked somewhere about that, because like if you guys have a conversation and decide this is how things are going to go, then that's how you create work-life balance for you guys. But I know in my mind, especially in the economy today, sometimes one of us can't work, and if it's only one of us is working, then one of us needs to do more. So if I'm doing more, then that takes time away from the family. But if I don't do more, then we don't have less. So which one do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to do more because I want to see us at least have our wants met without a problem. And then our needs met without a problem. And then some wants. But some women don't understand that. You not spending no time. You not doing this, you not doing that. Hey man, it's my duty to make sure that my kids are taken care of. If you don't want to roll, it's my duty to make sure my kids are taken care of. And I think that having work-life balance is, like I said, a conversation, just like anything. I know you don't want to go to work right now. And I know how kids could be. I know kids could be, kids. They run all over the place, yelling, screaming, etc. And it takes a lot of energy. And that's a valiant duty. You got to teach them, valuable things in life so they could be a valuable person in society. And that's a valiant thing that you women are doing. But as far as work-life balance, I don't like, in a general sense, I don't think it's possible unless you have a type of job or if you're doing something that you're freed up time, and that's what a lot of us haven't done. So to have like great work-life balance is not normal for everybody. In the sense that people are discussing or talking about. So I think that women, you got to give men some grace if they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're taking care of the family, providing, making sure things are done. Now, if they sitting on the couch and you going to work and the kids not taking care of, that's a different story. But I got to believe that most men aren't doing that. And so women, you got to give us some grace because if we're doing our thing. So anyway, this is damn. Let me see. I know because we went over. I wanted to play this last part, but if you have to walk out, I understand.
No, go ahead. You good?
All right. Let me see.
Yeah. But those are the sacrifices that you got to make because it all depends on how successful are you trying to be.
Yeah,
it is hard because the greater the goal, the greater the sacrifice.
Okay, let me see.
Of my dad to let me see what I can get out of here.
Oh, there we go.
Of my dad to, and when you're carrying the load financially, you don't want to hear nobody talk about how you not doing your pop. What? Taking care of 3 households.
Exactly.
I'm not doing my part. It's hard for you to, it's hard for you to see.
Because time is the most valuable commodity.
It's the most valuable commodity. So then I ran into this thing where my daughter went from I love my dad to let me see what I can get out of here. And when she started looking at me as access to like material things.
You were an ATM. Now all of a sudden you weren't dad, you were an ATM.
Broke me. Because it was like, I only want to be around him if I can get something out of him.
So
did you want to address that? I haven't made it there yet, man, where I'm known as ATM.
You haven't made there yet?
Nah, not yet.
Yeah,
Not from my kids. Not
yeah,
from a mama for sure.
yeah. I mean, that's unfortunately that can come twofold. That can come from the mom, and that can come from a child too. Um, a child not understanding and knowing what gratitude is. Not understanding and knowing that daughter father relationship should always be held in high regard. And I've seen it happen to, a good friend of mine to where he had weekends and it was like they would go places all the time, you know, this place, that place, my daughter got to hang, with him. They was actually best friends, him and his daughter. And they was like close in age, maybe 2 weeks. And it was like they was always going somewhere, this place, that place, this place, that place. And it was like you get called the fun dad, as they say, or the weekend dad. And I got called that before too, with my son in the beginning. It was like you always want him and take him out to have fun. And was like thinking to myself, well, what else am I supposed to do on the weekends? There's no school, there's no homework. So what else do you do with your kids on the weekend? You go out and have fun and spend time with them. Just like everyone else, when they're out on the weekends and they work 5, 7 days a week, they're going to go out and have fun, with their children, but dads get a bad rap because they're not there for the small things, picking up kids from school, dropping them off, cooking during the week, all those things that, if they were allowed to and available for, I'm sure they would do it, but that's what I was talking about earlier. It comes down to, you know, um, the mom and the dad's co-ability to have these conversations and talk about, your part and my part. This is what I'm doing. This is what you're doing. What can we do, that's going to best, benefit the child from your standpoint and my standpoint. You don't have these relationships. I mean, you don't have this conversation because you're just living it. So, of course, if he's taking care of three households, which is his household, her household, and I don't know what other household he was talking about because he has two kids, so maybe that's the three households.
Maybe mom or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like if I'm doing that consistently, if I'm taking care of that consistently, I'm expected to do that. So men are not celebrated for that. What they are and what they will get is, shit talking when you're not doing stuff or when you messing up. You never get nothing celebrated like out the blue, like, man, I really appreciate what you're doing. You're taking care of the family, holding us down. Like men would never get that. I was having that thought the other day. I was like, because I was thinking about somebody else's situation happening, and it was like, I would never do that to you, because me and my wife was having this conversation,
Mhm.
and it was like, I'm thinking to myself, I've never been celebrated for me doing what I'm supposed to do. And not that you should, but I'm just saying, if it was something that I was not doing, if I was something I was messing up,
You get talked about.
you'll get talked about. World War III, World War IV. Easy, easy work.
Fact. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me being consistent and doing what I'm supposed to do, showing up every day, doing what I'm supposed to do, not adding any stress to your life, but taking stress away from your life, those are the things that need to be celebrated more. If those are the things that were celebrated more and glorified, you would see more men willing to do it. Not this he said, she said battle they have going on today with the whole 50-50, and you should be paying 100.
All right.
You're going about it the wrong way. That's the wrong energy. You're talking about it from a space or a place that you believe I should be doing something for you because I'm the man.
Right.
So as the woman, there's things that you should be doing, that men don't expect but would like to see. And we don't make a big issue about it because we understand, okay, I picked this individual. This is who they are. So this is just what I have to deal with until I don't want to have to deal with it anymore. And before I get to that point, okay, we're going to have a conversation and say, hey, I need you to change this. Or, hey, I would like you to do this. What do you think? We're going to have a conversation, you know? So a lot of times, some women would take that as, oh, he trying to control me or he kind of changed me. You know, I used to hear that. And it's like, no, I just see ways that you can do things that you do better as who you are. And that's always a choice and decision by you. So for whatever reason, if you choose not to do that, I can't force you to do that. But just know that's something that's going to always come up when you do that at that capacity. I already told you you needed to raise that level anyway. So after you keep coming back and bumping your toe or stubbing your toe on what I told you to do, and then you finally want to change it, and it's like, I already told you to do that. It's not like I told you so, but it's like you never want to do anything I mentioned to you until you've already crossed that road and hit your toe and stubbed your toe 4, 5, 6, 7 different times. Now you want to change it because either you did that or somebody else said it and noticed it. Now you're gonna change it.
Yeah, no, I told you so. I'm gonna tell them, hey. You know what I'm saying?
But what good does that ever do by me saying I told you so?
Just make me feel good at the moment.
It don't make me feel good. All that does is, you know, it just breeds more resentment in a certain situation with a certain individual. So I always like to keep things lighthearted because life is already heavy as it is. So it's just like, man, you already know. You like to be hard headed. So I'm gonna
Just
say
give
it.
them a look, huh? Just like
I'm gonna
like,
say
hey.
it. I'm gonna keep it moving. And it's gonna be what it's gonna be. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. I usually don't say I told you so like that, but I mean, I just, you know, and it, you know, I'll give my short spiel, but I just wanted to kind of address that. But it's funny because same similar situations, you know, we had this conversation, and after we had this conversation, you know, you did whatever you wanted to do, and then, you know, what I said you should have did, you should have did. And it's like you tell me, "Oh, this happened and that happened." I'm like, "Okay, like what?" Like I'll sit there and listen, but like, why are we having this conversation? Like you already know that what I said, and you know that's what I told you. So what do you expect me to say? They want you to say I told you. So I don't know what it is, but anyway. Um. So as far as being the ATM, I think that men get into a lot of men get into a situation where, you know, we talked about relationship. You know, men get into a situation where they're not provided the adequate time with their kid, but the woman wants that money. You know what I'm saying? Like without fail, she wants that money every single month or every 2 weeks, however, every week, however often you get paid. She wants to make sure she has that money uh, that, you know, the government, you know, provides to her, which is not fair. You know, a lot of men and they don't care. I think I brought the story up before, but I know there's one person who, you know, I know this happens to other people too. Every time, you know, she thought about it, she would go to the court and ask for it to be raised. Like you're and then you hear about these athletes out there, you know, in certain states there's not a limit. I'm sorry, they don't base it on what the child needs. They base it on uh, you know, what the parent makes. So you got these cats making millions of dollars and they're paying out hundreds of thousands of dollars a month sometimes. 20, 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a month. And I'm just like, and I'm sure other people have thought about this, like what is the kid doing with $300,000 a year, $200,000 a year? You know what I'm saying? Like what? Like you don't need that much to provide for a kid. You got school. Just say they're going to a private school. Private schools is not over $100,000 a year. They may be, you know, 30, 40, 50. I mean, they may be close to. Just say they are close to 100,000 in a year. But to food, clothing, etc. Like, come on, man. And women don't really give two craps about your situation. You could be one paycheck away from sleeping under the freeway. They don't care. They don't care if you eat. They don't care if you're clothed. You might got holes in your socks. They don't care. But guess what? This is that same person who is the child's other parent. And so you want your other parent, you want to see the parent of, the parent of your child to do bad. You want to see them, doing without. You want to take everything away from them. You know what? I saw this one guy. He was coming from court. The mother had put him on child support, and he was had it on speakerphone, and they were going back and forth. And he's like, I'm there all the time. Like, why would you put me on child support? Like, I pay for everything, etc. And her response was, "Oh, because you with that B. You know what I'm saying? You got another girlfriend. Like, we not together. Like, why does that matter? Like, people have showed over and over again, it's not about the kid. It's about trying to do whatever you can to hurt the father. So, that's more than an ATM to treating the man like a paycheck. And that's that type of behavior. We think our kids don't see it, but they see it. Like I said, having conversations now at this point when my kids are older, I mean, they see things that we didn't think they didn't see. And I said this, and I guess it was sort of like I told you so, but it was like, I just gotta, stick it out, keep my head above water, and then, wait until they're old enough to be able to share with me and me be able to share with them. And that's where I'm at right now. And so I don't know why, people use, that as a what's the word I'm looking for? They use the money as a I don't know what word I'm looking for, man. I guess I'm emotional. Nah, but no, they use this the money as a way to keep the man down, pretty much, for lack of better words. And so it's unfortunate, it has to be that way. It's unfortunate that, women don't think that, that the man should be there. It's unfortunate that, like Ryan said, his daughter started doing that. And I get because he wasn't there, he had to, pick her up with the time that he had, and they were doing things. He was buying her stuff, which makes sense. But for that relationship to shift from, him just buying her stuff to like, oh, I'm not hanging out with you because you're not buying me, or what can I get? That's crazy. And I mean, I hope I don't ever have to experience that. And yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Cuzzo.
Yes, sir.
Now it's time to say goodbye.
To all my friends.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You have any closing remarks?
Yeah, you know me, man. As always, man, major salute to you for getting the things together on the back end. It takes a lot of discipline to consistently put together, a show and a platform, that has technology involved, you know, to the degree that we have it involved. It's not like we got a whole massive setup, you're on a laptop, I'm on a laptop, but still without saying, it's appreciative to see you, put it together, kind of learning some things on the back end. Also, man, just about, a, a quick recap, man, just understanding where we're at in these times. People, I hope you are focusing and seeing what's happening. There's a shift economically, there's a shift happening, get you some gold and silver. You see that going up,
Ooh-wee.
try to invest as much as you can, to kind of sustain, what little wealth you have at this point in time. Automation is coming, so don't fight it. Just figure out how you can use it to your advantage, based on its ability or inability. And lastly, ladies, don't use your child as a weapon or a pawn against that man. Especially if it's a good man. I see a lot of females taking advantage of good dudes, or they call them squares or whatever. If it was these street dudes, they wouldn't go for it, because these street dudes might do something different.
But they can't go do nothing because they get their money another way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times.
Yeah, I'm just saying though. I'm just saying that's right in itself. That's true in itself. But for the child's sake, allow that man to do what he knows he can do for the child. It may not be what you think he should do, but allow him to do what he can do. Kind of figure out how you can work through your trauma and your biases, against that man, because the adult relationship didn't work out doesn't mean he's not going to be a good and a great dad to that child. So I'll just encourage you to do more for your child by allowing that father-daughter or that son-dad relationship to take shape and hold, and they'll love you more for it down the line. And that's my spiel.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that, man. I'll just say this one thing about what you said. You said great thing. I'll just say this. Just because he wasn't a great boyfriend or husband, doesn't mean, he won't be a great father. And you pretty much said that, Cuzzo. But I wanted to reiterate that because it's important that he has both parents in his life, or she has both parents in her life. It's hard to navigate, through life sometimes and feel like you're doing the right thing. But I guarantee you, if you make sure that the other parent has a relationship with their child, you're not doing the wrong thing. And I know your child would be better off for it. So anyway, this is episode number 1 of season 2 of the What's Up Cuzzo podcast. We appreciate you, Cuzzo, coming on here and giving your expert opinions on our topics. And for each and every one of you out there, man, strive to be better. I know I said it last week, but I'm gonna say it again. We had goals at the start of the year, or we had goals coming into the year. Whatever those are, like, don't abandon them. Pick them up if you put them down, and let's continue to grow. I'm in the trenches with you. I got me some gold and silver, y'all. No. Hey, that thing is growing, man. Like Cuzzo said, hey, I looked today and it was like at 5,000. Gold hit 5,000. I think silver hit 1,000. Oh man. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into that because I'm gonna reminisce on what I should have did. Don't do that, y'all. Don't say what you should have did. Just start doing it right now. But anyway, episode 1 of season 2 of the What's Up Cuzzo podcast. We appreciate you. and we out. We appreciate you, and we out.
Salute.